was talking to a fellow CFO recently, and they asked me a question I have heard time and time again. And that question is, well, if I already have the financial reports, why would I ask my client questions? Don't I already have all the data that I need? Well, the thing is that financial reports, they tell you what? They tell you what happened, but they don't tell you why it happened. And that's really far more important when we're working with our clients, when we're working with our own numbers, because you likely came to this video as a business owner wanting to better understand your own numbers. So, I'm going to talk to you today about the difference between the what and the why, and the importance of getting to the real questions and the better way to diagnose. Because the reporting, it doesn't do the same job. It doesn't help you like actually asking questions does. So, let me give you an example with a trip to the doctor, right? Let's say you go to the doctor and you go, "Oh man, doc, my foot hurts. It is driving me nuts." And your doctor, they don't ask you anything. They don't ask you when it started to hurt. They don't ask you what the pain's like. Is it throbbing? Is it stabbing? Does it hurt more when you do this or do that? In fact, they don't ask you when it started. They don't even look at your foot. They're just like, ice it, ice and elevate, and you'll be fine. Would you trust that diagnosis? Of course not, because they never ask. They don't understand what's really going on. So maybe you push back and you're like, "Oh, I'll tell you what, I'll get some blood work for you," right? That'll settle things. But what if they do the blood work and they do the wrong test for the blood work? And this is something that has happened to me. I went to the doctor. There were very specific concerns we were looking to address. My doctor sent in the blood work, the fun of getting your blood drawn. And what happened was the office ran the wrong tests. So we had a whole ton of data. We had tons of data of all kinds of stuff. We're like, wow, check all this out. But you know what? None of the data was actually related to the problem I was having. So we didn't have the information we actually needed. It wound up being useless. And businesses do this all the time. And that's why it's so hard for businesses to understand what they need to change in their business. Because more data isn't exactly the answer. What we really need to do is analyze the data. Because if you are like other business owners I know, if you're like other CFOs I know, other accountants I know, you've probably got all kinds of data, lots of reports, you've got KPIs that you've built out, and you probably have big, beautiful dashboards, right? They're color coded, they have all kinds of percentages, they show you what changed and how much it changed by, but that's a whole lot of what? It's what happened. It's not why it happened. And that's what's far more important. So, for example, let's say you see that your job supplies doubled. That's what happened. What do you do with that information? If all you have is job supplies doubled, how do you know how to fix that? How do you even know if that's a problem in the first place? Maybe they should have doubled. That's when we start asking questions, right? Why did they double? What caused this? Is it an issue of our prices went up? It cost us more to get the same things, tariffs, COVID, all kinds of normal life changes that happen. Is that what it was? And we just need to stay on top of this? Was it a one-time issue that happened and things are going to go down and we don't really need to worry about it? Do we have a new employee and they didn't know where they should be buying things or that they should buy in bulk to get a certain discount? Maybe they bought from the wrong vendor. Maybe we've got waste and we've been having all kinds of issues with waste and we just haven't really been tracking that. Do we have theft going on? Is it that we aren't even using supplies, but people are taking supplies? Are we getting the wrong supplies from the wrong vendors and they're breaking on us, so we have to order more? Are we having one-time job things where we're just purchasing now for this one-time job rather than being able to use things again in the future? Or do we have issues where we have poor training and we are going through things really fast, again, getting back to waste? Do we have something else? If all we see is job supplies doubled, we don't start asking questions to learn more of the why job supplies doubled, what do you do with that? You can't do anything meaningful with it. It's just data. Data alone doesn't do it. Financial reports can't answer these important questions, the questions we really need answers to make changes to move our business forward. So we just have to ask questions. I have fully embraced my inner ask hole. I beg of you, do the same. Be an ask hole. Please ask questions. Why did this happen? Job supplies doubling, or the pain that you feel in your business of not having cash in the bank. Why did this happen? Why now? What changed? What's different this month from last month? Why didn't this happen last month? When do we expect something to change? Why do we think it will change? How will we make things change? Ultimately, why is something happening now? What is different now? What is causing it? Why are we experiencing this right now? Because that's what we need to do is we need to take the symptom that we have. We've got a pain we feel. We've got job supplies that have doubled, for example. That's a pain. That's a real pain. But we need to take that and not diagnose that symptom. It's a symptom we listen to. We look at our data. We ask questions about the data. And then we can figure out the root cause. Once we know the root cause, we can actually start making those changes. We have to be curious at all times. Never assume that you have all the answer just from a financial report or a dashboard or data. Everything behind a number is human, and you need to connect with the human reason behind it. It's going to tell you what happened. That's all a financial statement does. That's all those financial reports do. That's all those KPIs and dashboards do, is the what happened. It's your job as an amazing CFO, as a fantastic business owner, to ask questions. That's how you're going to finally diagnose the real issue. Once you have your diagnosis, that's when you can prescribe the cure. That's when you can get the solution to move your business forward. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you'd like to see how I do this, I will link to it. I've got a video where I show you how I analyze different numbers and how I ask questions to find out some of the root causes so I can prescribe the cure for your business. Thank you again so much. Go forth and profit, everybody.